What up, y'all? It's Tone Space Money. I've been, I frequently watch, I guess you could say, the hip-hop oriented stuff on YouTube. You know, your Math Hoffas, your Hassan Campbell, all the people that y'all are in the quote-unquote dirty section, the soul dude that is in the quote-unquote filthy section. I tune into all of that shit, you know what I mean? I'm kind of doing this video, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm trying to get my channel up and views and all that shit. I've always been on the fence about doing hip-hop oriented content with different people because I'm gonna break something down to y'all. Let's face it, right? It all breaks down to gossip. The hip-hop blogging, vlogging, whatever you call it, your no jumpers, this interview platform, academics, really look at it from this perspective, from this lens. 90+% of it is gossip. What happened between this person? What happened between that person? The hip-hop aspect is just the landscape for the gossip.
Another person that brought, like,
we don't get the,
another,
oh, this song dropped, let me break down these bars. That song dropped, let me break down this. Let's talk about this dude's contract. Unless this dude's contract can be, spun into some gossiping, talking, he say, she say shit. So that's always been why I've always been on the fence, because I think I could do an amazing job with the hip-hop content and all this other little bullshit, because I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I could break things down in a very logical, concise way, right? However, I gotta be real with myself. I consume the gossip. I'm entertained by the gossip. So whether I'm also doing it or not, I'm still part of the gossip sphere, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that a nice bright? Look how bright and bright the sky is with the clouds. You know what I'm saying? Get a freeze frame in this. Put me in a portrait or something. I don't know. So suffice to say, all I'm saying is I'm still on the fence, but I might get into the shit or whatever. And I feel like doing this video right here, if it does have a potential to get some views and shit like that, it's kind of like me recouping for all the time I put indulging in the shit. When realistically, I could have been watching, I don't know, a financial training video on A to the Z or whatever, which I still do, but I always got time for the bullshit. And that's why it's popping. That's why this quote-unquote bullshit is popping. Niggas are here for it. They want to hear the gossip. And I don't even mean to say it in a shit on it type of way. Like I said, I indulge in it myself, so it's entertaining. You feel me? So that's one aspect. Second aspect, I wanted to do a particular type of Hassan Campbell video, right? And when I do this video, I do hope to get Hassan's ear and maybe get some feedback and build something off of it, right? Now, I'm still on the fence if I'm gonna do it or not, but I will say this. It has to do with what he went through, but approaching it from an angle which I've yet to hear anyone approach it from. A psychological angle that I've yet to hear anyone else that covers Hassan Campbell topics. I've yet to hear anybody else, whether they're doing it to shit on him, make fun of him, or, even Steven, you know what I'm saying, just telling it like it is, or if they fuck with him and they want to talk about it, right? So I will say this, if I do the video, it's not at all with the intent to shit on him. It's coming from a very sincere place, but it will go deep into some specifics, right? So the reason I might not do it is because if I can't find a respectful approach to do the video, then I ain't gonna do it. You feel me? So I'm just trying to work out how to approach this certain issue, but it's something very deep. It'll get psychological. I believe it'll make people think. And if Hassan Campbell himself can address it, my hopes is that it'll be therapeutic for him. And also, it could help with a lot of, clear up a lot of shit. Because the whole point of this video is communication, or rather, miscommunication, right? Now, I'm looking at the Math Hoffa versus Hassan Campbell situation. All right, they were cool. They were cool. Hassan hit Math's channel 2 times, right? Claims that his presence, up dudes' numbers or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to be checking people's analytics like that, but I'm sure it didn't hurt Math Hoffa, that is. Hassan being on his joint 2 times. Pause. But long story short, they were cool. And then probably the most common thing that messes up people being cool and messes up alliances is when, like Norby said, fucking with the nigga that I don't fuck with. I don't know. I don't like to, however he said it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody you cool with ends up rocking with somebody that you're not cool with to whatever degree. And then you like, oh, you didn't defend me, or you let him come there and do this, that, the third, say this, that, the third. Now, I do want to, let me just start with this. I'm not going to go into the person in question that I guess is the catalyst of Hassan and Math not rocking with each other. But I will say this. Math Hoffa has a hip-hop platform in probably, I'd say, the most excusable fashion that one can have for someone to have another person's enemy on it. He's in a barbershop. He's doing interviews with people. You feel me? So just the nature of social activity is he's going to come across, because the circle is still pretty small if you really look at it. The hip-hop, YouTube space and all that, it's a small circle. So yes, eventually, just due to the nature of Math Hoffa's platform, there's going to be people sitting in that chair that maybe don't rock with this one or rock with that one. Now, as far as, is Math obligated to defend or check people if they say certain things about someone that's his friend? That's up to y'all to interpret. That's not really what this video is about. So let me get down to the crux of what this video is about. Communication. Now, I don't know either of these gentlemen. Never met Hassan, but I've been watching him since 2016 when he first started, when he had like under 500 subscribers. I've been tapped in. Math Hoffa, obviously, battle rap, been tapped in. I met him just one time briefly with my peoples at No Jumper. So I don't know him either, but from that little brief encounter, he seems to have a good energy, which is important to gauge when you're actually in the presence of somebody. He seems to have a good energy, right? So, miscommunication. This is when there's a conflict, and that's like anytime I'm in conflict with people, and I suggest everyone else that's in conflict with people, if you're trying to find a resolution, this is your strongest tool. Respect the timeline. It's all about the timeline, meaning the timeline of events that led to the discourse or to the back and forth. Because look at it like this. I'm pretty sure Hassan Campbell feels like he's justified in whatever he's doing going at Math. Math Hoffa feels he's justified in whatever he's doing going at Hassan. And that's usually how it is in conflict. There's not one side that's just admitting to be the villain, twisting his mustache with his black hat on, like, yeah, see, I'm gonna get you. Everybody's the good guy in conflict from their own perspective. That's why a timeline is important. Because the timeline is when this person said or did this, and that's what led this person to react with this, and this person then reacted to this and that. You get it? You see what I'm saying? So, just as a casual observer that's been watching it, I guess you could say the first strike seemingly came from Math Hoffa, and there's a reason why I'm gonna say seemingly. But and I'm not talking about having someone that Hassan Campbell don't rock with on his show. I personally don't think that's a violation, just due to the nature of what Math's platform is about. That's just gonna happen regardless, right? But Hassan first did a video talking to Math, talking about loyalty. You had such and such on the show, this, that, the third, yada, yada, yada. You know I don't fuck with him. Why didn't y'all say this about me, that about me, right? However, if you watch that first video, his tone was still respectful at that time. He still considered Math his man. I forget what it is he said, but he said, yeah, I'm not gonna do this because I still got love for him, yada, yada, yada. So at that point, it was just him expressing himself to him. Like, yo, B, what's up? You had such and such on the jump board, right? When Math Hoffa then did a video responding, he was also respectful. And the thing that I think is the catalyst that set off the, if you want to call it beef, is this very thing that he said. But no, I don't think Math came from a malicious place. That's important. But what Math said is he was asking a question to Hassan. He said, how old were you when you stopped molesting kids? That's crazy right there. That shit is crazy. You know, I'm quoting, so I might be off by a word or two, but I know the word molested was mentioned in reference to Hassan. He asked about Hassan molesting kids, right? And I don't think Math came from a malicious place, and I'm going to explain why. He got that question from what Hassan said coming on Math's show. Kind of where Math asked somewhat a similar question, but not in that type of way. He asked him, when did you stop touching kids or something like that? And then Hassan kind of, I guess he didn't give like a clear, concise answer. And I could understand why, because here's what it is. This is what Hassan has always said. When I was a kid, I touched other kids, right? Now, this is where I think Hassan, I'm not going to say it's his fault. I'm not even going to say it's Math's fault for what he said, but it all comes down to miscommunication, right? Because that is very vague. When I was a kid, I touched other kids. What does that mean? I played house. Okay, I've heard the term playing house before and everything, but specifically, what does that mean? So when you were 10, you touched other girls. Okay, what does touch mean? You grabbed their butt. Y'all were doing like we did in 3rd grade, looking at the girls jump off under the table. They looking at ours and some silly shit we used to do. You penetrated the girl, you know what I'm saying? It was YouTube, so I ain't trying to get too graphic, but you know what I mean. And plus we're talking about kids, so I ain't really trying to go there. But specifically, what does that mean? Touch has a very wide potential of interpretation. So when Math asked, how old were you when you stopped molesting kids? Yeah, that sounds crazy. That's not what I get from when Hassan said he touched kids. I don't think that's what he meant, because he was around their age and all that, which is a very important detail too.
Wait, which one?
But at the same time, I can't fault Math for saying it that way, because it's such a vague thing. When I was a kid, I touched kids. That it's open to be interpreted that way. So like I said, this video isn't to give fault to anybody, it's just to go through the timeline. So when Math essentially threw that first blow, how old were you when you stopped molesting kids? I personally believe that's what triggered Hassan. He was like, oh word, you calling me a molester? Yada, yada, yada. Even though Math didn't mean it from a malicious place, I'm pretty sure. He only got that from what Hassan said. When I was a kid, I touched other kids. So, due to that vague communication, it's left up to interpretation. You feel me? And then after that, that's when Hassan got on his thing and started playing some old tape of some girl claiming that Math did some sexual violations to her, which I remember when that came out, like 2019, 2020. I believe it's unilaterally known that it's been written off as BS, right? And I think Hassan Campbell knows it's written off as BS, but I personally believe Hassan Campbell, even knowing that it's BS, felt justified to do that because he felt violated by Math asking him about molesting children. But Math only asked him about how old was he when he stopped molesting children because of the vague description that Hassan Campbell gave. You see what I mean? So we're going through the timeline of events, and we're going through the reasoning behind both people. See how neither side is really coming from a malicious place, but they felt that maliciousness was done to them, so they just clapped back in that fashion. Had Math not asked him about when you stopped molesting kids, he wouldn't have went there to the old stupid girl that came with that BS. Even though he knows it's BS, all that, he felt justified because he was like, yo, this nigga talking wild crazy to me, asking me about molesting kids. Now let's delve into that a little more, because I seen people doing videos, even Math, talking about how Hassan was kind of tripping up on his words. But I want to say I can understand that. I mean, like I said, it's all vague terminology anyway. When I was a kid, I was touching kids. So then Math was asking, yeah, when did you stop? I believe the reason why Hassan had a hard time defining when he stopped is because it's the gradient. Math, you do stuff in a barbershop, so I know you can respect the gradient. The fade out from them being children, playing house, touching each other, to it being defined as, all right, now this is my girlfriend. We're not playing house anymore. Yet they're doing the same activity. How do you really define that? How do you put a stamp or a stick in the dirt and say, all right, at this point, it's no longer us kids touching each other, boy and girl. Now it's you're my girlfriend. I personally believe that's why Hassan kind of tripped up and didn't know how to really answer that, because it fades out of kids touching kids and fades into, now this is my girlfriend, we're yada yada yada. See? Now if I'm making sense, please let me know in the comments and all of that or whatever. I think what I'm saying makes sense. It's all about the communication and being clear with the communication. Now, if I did have to, if anyone were at fault, I don't think neither parties are at fault of anything. It's just two people, good folk, that just got into a thing, which I think ultimately is a misunderstanding. But if I had to say, what's the primordial ooze or the origin of what led to this communication, I'd have to say that would be Hassan being vague when saying when he was a kid, he touched other kids. You got all the people clapping at Hassan, having a field day with that. Oh, you was molesting children. Oh, you was doing that till 35 and all this other shit. And a part of me could understand being vague with that because these are touchy subjects. You know what I'm saying? As you understand this watching, Hassan has said that he's been touched himself since he was a young kid. So bringing all that stuff back has to be a lot of trauma, has to be a lot of pain. So I'm not even trying to put blame on him for being vague with his, when I was a kid, I was touching other kids, we were playing house. Because it's some effed up ish to be going back in the recesses in your mind and bringing back up. That's why nobody's at fault, in my opinion, in this situation. Just because it's miscommunication is not saying, oh, you're wrong, you weren't communicating good, you're wrong, you weren't communicating good. That's just part of social behavior. It happens all the time. But I just hope, I mean, I ain't gonna front for view-wise and all that shit. I hope both of y'all tap into this shit too. I'm not a nigga that fronts. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I ain't gonna front it all. However, just as much as I hope this shit gets, you know, some numbers or whatever, I hope that both parties also, probably even more so than numbers. Let me keep it a buck, because this channel ain't even monetized yet, right? More so, and this is coming from the heart chakra, straight from it. More so, I hope this gets to the bottom of something where y'all could, you know, be cool again. I ain't no Mr. Peace flag waver and all that type of shit, but you know, I rocks with both of y'all. Personally, I think both of y'all are good dudes. Don't know either one of y'all niggas, but from what you put forth, from what I seen, I think both of y'all are good dudes. I don't think it's one person that's just on super violation type time going at the other. It all comes down to the miscommunication. So as I do this video, Matt got I guess a remake of a video from a live he did talking about the 7 godly questions for Hassan Campbell and all that. Hassan went into that girl that came with them allegations against Matt. Matt came back flagging the channel and talking about getting his lawyers for the slander. All of that shit is understandable. I could see if I went from y'all perspectives, I could totally understand it. This shit right here, man. Hurry up. Man, it's a fire and y'all niggas dilly-dallying through the street with it while somebody's crib burning down. Hope it ain't mine. Right? So, neither of y'all are foul dudes, in my personal opinion. Just comes down to the miscommunication. So I just truly hope, another one. I truly hope, pardon the loudness, I truly hope y'all go back to that point of origin and get an understanding. Alright, at least that nigga moved faster than the other one, shit. I truly hope y'all go back to the origin of the shit and get an understanding and realize it was all miscommunication. I don't think Matt was trying to be malicious when he said when you were a kid, how old were you when you stopped molesting kids? That's just how he interpreted. When I was a kid, I touched other kids, we were playing house. That's open to vague interpretation, right? And on Matt's side of things, Hassan only put the old shit of girl or whatever on his channel because that was a headshot that hit him in the head with. You know what I'm saying? You hit him in the head with one of them joints. From his perspective, oh, you saying I'm a molester? What? So he felt super duper violated, right? So I'm in this video. I know this shit's already long and shit. So I'll say hopefully it's a good primer. This will help me open up to doing the Hassan Campbell video that I've been wanting to do for a real long time because it comes from an angle I never saw anybody else come from. But it's very sensitive. So if y'all don't see it, that's why. If y'all do see it, Hassan, anybody else watching, no, I don't come from a malicious place. I might even turn the comments off on the motherfucker because you know how niggas be wilding. So catch y'all later.